From the studios of the Richmond Register, it's this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, Richmond Register sports editor Nathan Hutchinson and Richmond Register sports writer Ricky Barker will talk about this week in Madison County sports. Welcome to the show.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
All right, well, welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. I am Richmond Register sports editor Nathan Hutchinson. This, of course, is Richmond Register sports writer Ricky Barker. And the temperatures has dropped, and fall sports are beginning to wrap up. It's a lot of stuff going on around the county, so a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you happy it's cooled off a little bit?
Oh my gosh, yes. Not burning up on a field with no shade.
Yes. Well, obviously the first fall sport that always gets going is golf, and it is wrapping up this week with the two KHSAA state golf tournaments this week. And we talked a lot of golf on this show the past couple of weeks, so we'll try to keep the golf talk to a minimum this week. But the girls' tournament did wrap up earlier on Wednesday. LCA ran away with the girls' individual state championship. And after the first round, Maddie Neely was actually in third place. She shot an even par on the first day. Had a really bad day on Wednesday and blew up and shot a plus 12. And she did finish 11th, so obviously that's still a great accomplishment. Okay, and Maddie Jo's teammate Reagan Clark tied for 33rd. She shot rounds of 81 and 83 on Wednesday down there. The boys start Friday, and second round's on Saturday. So there was a bit of controversy up there today with how the KHCA handled the rounds. And
a lot of unhappy people. Some
people weren't very happy, but we don't really get into too much of all that. But there was a lot of unhappy people that they divided it up into individuals and teams, and it was a very foggy, wet, nasty morning, and two of the individual leaders had to play in the morning in the really bad conditions. And Lainey Fry of LCA, she actually got to come back and play in the evening when it was much better conditions. But that's how it goes. But Maddie Neely finished 11th, so congratulations to her. Her senior year, she has obviously committed to EKU, so we'll be seeing much more of her in the future. District soccer is underway, and because of the way this program is scheduled, it's kind of hard to kind of give you a good update on that. We filmed this on Wednesday night, and it debuts on Thursday, and that's right in the middle of the tournament. So it's kind of
information's old, but
yeah, it's kind of hard to give a correct, up-to-date information. But Tuesday night, Madison Southern beat Berea in both the girls and boys.
Yes, they did.
First round games. It was 3-0 for the girls and
3-0 for the girls, 5-0 for the boys.
And the Central and Model played on Wednesday night after this show has been broadcast or been filmed, and then Thursday the championship games are underway. So we'll have to update you next week on those.
We know for sure Southern's going to the finals.
Yeah. Southern will be in the final of both of them against who we don't know yet. And the top two teams from each of those will go on the 11th region tournament next week as well. And we'll keep you updated on that as well. So sorry we couldn't give you a more accurate report on that, but just kind of the scheduling of this show kind of makes that a little difficult. But we did have high school football last week. We only had 2 games, unfortunately both on the road. So fans of local teams either had to listen to the radio or watch TV or get in their cars and drive quite a distance to watch either one of them. You watched the East Jessamine Madison Southern game, another crazy game.
Yes, it was.
Kind of give us a little roundup on that one.
Southern had taken the lead, and then after halftime, East Jessamine just turned on the Jets. They're the #1 rushing team in their region, so they really showed it in the second half and took over the lead and took the win. Southern unfortunately lost 49-35. But Tobias Storm had a touchdown pass and 2 touchdown runs. A.J. Jones had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Walt Smith had a touchdown catch. So they are now 3-4 and 1-1 in the district play.
Yeah, and Woodford coming up this week. And Woodford's a team that's not really been very good in recent years, but they're 4-2 this year.
Yeah, they're doing well.
And really, they beat West Jessamine last week, 56-16. So that's that program that's all of a sudden has gotten it turned around. They've been in the same district with Southern the last couple of years when they were in that other district. So familiar foe, different district, but familiar foe.
Yeah, last year Southern went to Woodford County and beat them. This time they're hosting Woodford County. So.
Yep, and the maybe the feel-good story of the year continues down in Berea. The Berea Community Pirates, they went up to Dayton, Northern Kentucky last week and put a whipping on them on their homecoming, 49-6. 6-0, and now the story continues there. It's amazing. They they have actually got a first place vote in this week's AP.
Yes, they did. Congratulations.
AP poll. They didn't crack the top 10, but somebody gave them a first place vote, so they are actually
getting some recognition.
They would be 11th if you count down past 10. They're the next one receiving votes. But Jalen Whitaker, 5 of 6 passing with a touchdown, also 127 yards, also rushed for 3 touchdowns on 212 yards. Jaden Cunningham had a touchdown catch and also rushed for a touchdown, and I think Timmy Thompson had a couple of touchdowns as well. Big, huge game down there this weekend. It maybe the biggest game in recent history in Berea community football. I mean, to play Kentucky Country Day, which is the number 2 ranked team in the state, both teams undefeated. Only 3 undefeated teams left in Class A, and that's 2 of them right there.
Right.
And on top of that, it's a district game.
Yes.
So huge. I expect they have huge crowds anyway down there this year.
Gosh,
but that place will be packed.
A lot of tailgating.
It'll be crazy down there. It should be a lot of fun. I'll be covering that one, and you'll be at the Southern Woodford.
Yes.
And Madison Central was off last week. They will be back in action this week, taking a long trip to. It seems weird to say that Oldham County is in the same district when it's 2 hours away, but that's how the districts were reshuffled this year. But they are going up to Oldham County, which is 3-3, and actually has lost 3 straight. They had a really good year last year, and a lot of people thought they would be the favorite to win that district, and all of a sudden they're not playing very well. But Central 1-5, coming off a loss to Dixie Heights a couple weeks ago. They're hoping to have running back Joe Burton back this week after missing a couple of weeks with an injury, and that'll help their offense. And of course, obviously, the Colonels, it was homecoming at EKU last weekend.
Homecoming.
It was not a happy homecoming, unfortunately, and the Colonels have lost 3 of their last 4 homecoming games now. That's kind of unusual. But they went down to UT Martin 38-28, had a lead. Actually, they came back after halftime, stormed out to take a lead, and then a nice long punt return set up a touchdown for Martin, and then a fumble, scoop and score, and
really took advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, it kind of turned the tide, and from there it was it just kind of went downhill from there. So that's bad. I mean, it's kind of a bad loss for them. They dropped to 3-3 and 1-1 in the OVC, and that it could have been. Martin goes to 2-0 and takes over first place in the league, and of course, you could have been 2-0 in first place in the league, but still 6 games left in the conference schedule for those guys. So. They do have a week off, and then they will go to Murray, and then after that they go to EIU. So a week off and then 2 road games. So that's 3. They won't be home for another week, another month after that. So they got a long trip, another long stretch of no home games for them as well. So, well, I guess we real briefly talk about our guests here. We'll have some folks we're very familiar with. Madison Southern volleyball coach Jeremy Grant and. His 2 star seniors, Alyssa Evans and Sarah Mitchell, and they've been rewriting the history books down there for those guys. And
you're just discussing all the records broken.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep track at some point. There's just it was every record in the book, but 22-4 in the season. I mean, they just really had a great year. They are coming off a loss the other night to Lexington Catholic in 5 sets, but.
Was 13 straight before then? Though?
Yeah, they broke a 13-game winning streak, but. Their district comes up in a couple of weeks. They're kind of a little bit behind soccer as far as the only scheduling goes, but we'll have them in here in just a minute to kind of talk about the year they're having and all that good stuff down there. So we appreciate you checking us out. Like I said, this is the 4th one of these now, and we really appreciate all the comments and everything from people. And
please continue to like, share, and watch us.
Yeah, I mean, we're appreciative. This is a very laid back thing we do here. We're not professionals. We don't do TV.
I don't think anybody could claim that.
No, we just try to have fun with this and bring on local people and talk to them. And I saw somebody commented something on Twitter about competition was heating up in Richmond or something. And I just responded, hey man, it's about the kids, and we can
absolutely
we can get these kids and these coaches on here, and that's all it's about. And it's not about us. It's nothing about us whatsoever. We're just here to tell
their stories.
Yep, exactly. So it's we just appreciate it. Like I said, we can catch us on Twitter, Richmond R Sports. We're on Facebook as well, Richmond Register Sports. When the video will be posted on Thursday nights, and it's available on YouTube. It's everywhere if you want to find it, it's out there. So appreciate you watching. We'll be right back with Madison Southern Volleyball.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
Okay, welcome back. We are here with Madison Southern volleyball seniors Liz Evans and Sarah Mitchell, and they are in the middle of probably, I guess, arguably the greatest season in school history. You guys are 22-4. Unfortunately, we're having you on a couple days after you lost, which is a rare thing for you guys this year, but still having a tremendous season. Just kind of talk about. Obviously, you guys expected to have a good year. I mean, you guys have three girls back that are committed to play college volleyball. Mm-hmm. Lots of seniors. I mean, you guys expected this, and so far, I guess you're living up to expectations. Listen,
I think we have went to what everybody thought our season was going to be. Like, everyone knew that we were going to be good this year, better than we were last year, and I think that we're still doing a really good job of that. Even though we lost last night, I think that made us a better team and trying to teach us that you're not going to win every game. You just have to bounce back from that.
Yeah, and for sure, everyone thought that coming into this season, we were a team that had a lot of experience, as we had 4 starters out of 5 seniors that were starters, and they knew we had been playing. We had been sitting the bench our freshman year. Some of us had been watching what had been happening, and knowing that, okay, as these good girls are graduating, we're coming up and we're going to be taking over.
Yeah. And a lot of the growth of the program has been, not just you two, but a lot of your teammates are playing club ball now. So talk about that experience. You go up to Lexington. I know there's also a program in the Pinnacles down in Berea, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But just talk about what having kids that play in the off season does to help the program.
You can definitely tell that it makes them a better player all around, because you get touches on the ball off season, all winter long, all spring. Then once you get into high school ball, it's not as fast as club ball is, so it's it's easier in high school season than club, but it still teaches you even if it's a slow game, you have to pick up your pace, even though.
And another thing is, in high school, we know when we go play Bryan Station that they're going to be a great team. We know when we go play Dunbar, which we don't play Dunbar in our season, but that they're going to be a great team. In club ball, you really see all different types of teams, so you don't know what to expect until you go and play the game. So you really have to adjust to the new teams, oh, she's a good hitter, we really need to watch her, and you're watching her in warm-ups, oh, where'd she come from? You don't know anything about the team when you go play, other than their name, and that's basically it. Yeah,
so we're going to give out a shout-out to these. Lexington United is a team you guys played for, and you guys played over the summer, earned All-American status, and kind of talk about, you traveled around, talk about that experience.
I liked how the team this year was a team all around. Everyone had a part. I don't think there was only one person that didn't play.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
And she even got to play. And I think that the traveling to Kansas City, we went to Kansas City this winter, I think that helped everyone become a better player.
Yeah, and that Kansas City tournament is a very prestigious tournament. You have to have 5 years of club excellence, and Lexington United's only been a club for 5 years. So making it in your first 5 years on your 5th year is very, very hard and not really heard of. But because Lexington United has been such a good club for that long, it was our time. So we got the invite and got to go.
Okay, we'll talk about a little bit more about the Southern team. You guys have, you two individually, I think, own every record in the book. We were joking about that earlier, but you're also doing things the team hasn't done in a long time. Obviously, you swept Central this year in the 2 regular season meetings, which I don't know if you've ever done that, but obviously I know what you guys in a couple of weeks, obviously the goal was that district championship, and there's only been one in school history, and that was 2006. So
yeah.
Obviously that's the big goal, and I'm sure that's something you guys have been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, even going to the gym for practices, you look up at those banners that you see hanging around your gym, and you just look, and you're like, runner up, runner up, runner up, runner up, and you're like, like, when is this ever going to stop? And
Yeah.
2006 was the last time that we had won districts. And even that year, we didn't even beat them both times we'd played them in regular season.
Yeah, we've never
So-
been undefeated in district
Yeah,
play.
it's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, yeah. And I know. I remember when you guys beat Central over here in Richmond. I remember talking to you afterwards, and I think you said something along the lines of asking you about wanting to win the district.
Mm-hmm.
I think your comment was, "It's going to happen."
Yeah.
So, very, very confident.
Yeah. We really thought it was going to happen either last year. Last year was very close as well. I mean, even the year before that, going to that fifth set with that group of seniors, which that was our year that actually showed us, hey, like, this is not as challenging. I mean, obviously it's a challenging game. This is a lot closer of a reach than we think it is. And last year was a really tough year that we really thought we were going to win it. And then, so you know what? It's a matter of time, and time's now.
Yeah, I think that you backed me up on this. That comment, like, just perfectly.
That's her motto,
personality.
literally.
Her personality.
Yeah.
I mean, you are one of the most intense athletes at the high school level I've ever met. I mean,
Thank you.
when you get locked in, you're just you take it seriously. This is not.
Yeah, I
fun and
mean,
games
I've
for
grown
you.
up playing sports since I was 4 years old. Like, trust me, like, I've been playing all different sports, all different, with all different types of people. So, like, getting someone motivated to play or getting someone, like, involved in what they're trying to do is not as easy as people think. And trying to get everyone on the same page on a team, like, oh, they don't want to be here today. Like, you got to motivate that person to be there.
I mean, I think the perfect way to encapsulate your intensity is we flashed back to senior night a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember what you said was your favorite memory of playing?
Oh, yeah. My favorite memory was a tournament we went to. Was it last year, Whitley County? Last year? Sophomore year? Might have been sophomore year.
I think it was Caitlin's.
It was sophomore
Brady's
year. And we went to Whitley County for a overnight tournament. And we were playing a team, and I hit a ball down the line, and it smashed her right in the face. And they ended up taking a timeout to make sure the girl could even breathe. And I remember the timeout was even longer than like a normal timeout. So
She had a concussion, didn't she?
yeah, I'm pretty sure she had a concussion too. Yeah.
And that's your favorite memory. That,
Oh, yeah.
that just it tells you.
I mean, I even hit someone in the face today at practice. It's pretty regular,
Yeah.
honestly.
And of course,
Honestly, it's pretty regular.
well, you've hit Jeremy a couple times, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy Grant, your coach.
Oh, I'm sure I have. Any way, shape, or form, I've probably hit him with
Yeah.
a ball.
Well, and of course, the other side of your story is that you're one of the very few athletes I can think of that plays two varsity sports in the same season, and you are the number one keeper on the soccer team as well. So, we did a feature on you last year about that, and
Right,
kind of the balancing act, but kind of talk a little bit about how you managed to go back and forth with the practice schedules and all that stuff.
When school starts, I don't practice a whole lot with soccer, maybe once a week, because volleyball games and practices get so back-to-back, and you don't get a lot of time. But because I'm a goalkeeper, I can do a lot of stuff on my own, or even a lot of stuff I do in volleyball is kind of the same, like the lateral movements and the ball hand-eye coordination. A lot of it's the same, honestly. Like, there's not a whole lot that you have to learn when you're someone who plays volleyball and tries to go be a goalie, other than completely catching and making the save, other than making a pass.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Is it just the one time that you actually played them both in the same day? Wasn't there?
I did it 3 times last year.
Oh, 3 times. Okay.
The thing is, they both had to be home games,
Yeah.
and then I've only done it once this year, just once.
Yeah. You got to make it. It's hard to get that schedule to work out.
Oh yeah, a lot of planning,
Yeah.
a lot of calendars.
And Alyssa, you're much more laid back. You're not quite as you don't have quite the killer instinct over as your friend here.
I was a freshman. I did basketball and volleyball at the same time, but I had to choose between that, and I chose volleyball. But
Yeah. Well, and we were actually talking before you came on, and you actually I think you started playing club before Sarah did.
yeah, I started club my freshman year. Pretty sure. Yeah, my freshman year.
Okay, so you got a little bit of a head start.
Yeah.
Kind of drag her in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, you guys I have every record in the book just about. Mostly, you got mostly the kill records.
Yeah, I think I have 4. Most kills in a game, most kills in a single season, most kills career.
Over 1,000 now. Right?
Yeah, I'm over 1,000 now. And then, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just 3.
Okay.
Maybe there is 4. I'm not really sure.
And let's see, is it the block record coming
Blocks.
up?
I have 2 more.
2 more. And what's the record? What's the number?
I think it was 82, maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think that's what it was last year.
Okay. And so obviously both of you seniors, obviously both committed to play Division I. So obviously you're heading to Marshall, and you committed to Marshall as a sophomore,
year.
a long time ago. So talk about why so early and what.
When I started playing club my freshman year, I started getting emails from like different coaches from basically everywhere, but it was just like normal emails that every player gets pretty much. And then my sophomore year, Marshall called me and was like, "We want you to come visit." And then I went down there and I was like, wow, like this is where I want to be. Like I knew as soon as I got there. And then I considered IU for a while. And then I was like, I don't think that's for me. And then last year, their coach retired, so they got a new coach this season. And I like her so much. And like I like how the atmosphere is like kind of like home. It's like I'm away from home, but I'm still home because it's only like 3 hours away. So it's pretty fun.
Of course, you're heading to EKU. Talk about that. New coach there as well.
Yeah, like all the schools I was recruited by also had new coaches. Marshall had gotten a new coach. Northern Kentucky, their coach had been there for a couple of years. They just became a Division I school only 2 years ago. So that was really new. And then Tennessee Tech just got new coaches. So every program that I was looking at, or they were looking at me, all had an even playing field in that aspect. They all had new coaches to learn from, new teams to start with. And, I mean, EKU, it's here. It's home. So, like, if I can stay here and play in front of my friends, family, anyone that wants to come watch me play, why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too. You bring up friends and family. We were just talking before, and we did not know that your grandfather played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
He played for 2 years, and then he got a hard hit and his lungs collapsed.
Oh.
So he couldn't play anymore, but he loved it for the 2 years that he played.
Okay. Well, you guys have a little bit of a break here in your schedule. It's fall break for a lot of teams, and there's got an open spot in the schedule here. And obviously, you'll be in goal
Tomorrow
night for
the
district soccer championship. But the district volleyball is in a couple of weeks. It's at Central, right?
Yes.
Yep, that's at Central. So they'll be looking to capture their first district title since 2006. It's amazing you know that, considering you were only like 12 when that happened. 12 or 13. No, you were like, what? That would have been like 5 or 6 when that happened, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you keep getting reminded every time you walk into practice. There it is up there on the banner. You just
Got
go
the
walk
district
around.
one. It's the only one up there is the 06, the only champion.
No, region runner-up. It's going to be on there, too.
All right, we appreciate you guys coming on. Continued success. It's fun to watch you play. You scare me, though. When you go up there and hit that ball, you really scare me. I'm back there taking pictures, and it's like, please don't hit me. But no, you ever like they ever like record your time on the? You ever do that? Does like they ever do that at camps or anything?
No,
or?
I've done serving, like with a speedometer.
Okay.
I've done serving. I really couldn't tell you the numbers on that, but I've done serving, but I've never done hitting.
Okay.
We should probably do that. Figure out a way to do that.
That'd be fun. All right. Well, like I said, appreciate you guys being on. Congratulations on all your success and continued success the rest of the year.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be right back with Madison Central coach Jeremy Grant.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Madison Southern volleyball coach Jeremy Grant. Coach, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of expected this would be a big year for you, your girls, but I mean, 22-4. I mean, you guys have kind of lived up to the expectations. You got a good group.
Yeah, that's what we talked about all summer. You know, normally you come in and it's all about, we could be really good or whatever. And I think this year people kind of knew what we had coming back, with the group of seniors we've had. I think 4 of the 5 have been playing since 8th grade for us. You know, there's Sarah and Alyssa. Both Sarah was starting as an 8th grader. Alyssa started as a freshman. Hannah and Kennedy were both starting and playing a lot as sophomores. So you had those, and then we added in, you know, Avery and Julia and people who were starting last year. So we knew we had a ton of experience coming back, and you knew there was the potential there to have a really good season. And you know, we had a couple of new pieces come in. You know, we had to replace Corey, and, you know, we had to get a new setter and kind of work them in. And Bluegrass State games, and we played some preseason games, and we saw flashes of, like, if this can get on the same page, you know, we're going to have something here. And I think we played Bryan Station the second game of the year, and we came out and looked horrible in the first set. And then the second set, we just fought and we scrapped, and, you know, we just couldn't put the second set away. And it was like, okay, they're starting to figure it out. And then we went on a nice little run, and then, you know, we ran into Great Crossing and Frederick Douglass, who are, you know, 2 top 25 teams in the state, and didn't play particularly well, but still hung with them. And it was like, okay, maybe we're for real. You know, and then, you know, it's like I said, the potential was there, and I know some of the girls hate that word potential, but, you know, there's teams all the time, they'll come back and say, hey, we've got this many players back, we're going to be really good, and then for whatever reason they can't put it together. And it seems like this year this team has been all about, like, you know, they haven't had that thing where they're like, oh, we're going to play this team or we're going to play that team, and they start freaking out. They're just like, we're going to play a volleyball game. You know, they've been very businesslike this year.
Yeah. And you'd won 13 straight matches until the other night when, like, Scath got you in the top 5 setter.
Well, and we talked about that at practice today. You know, you go on a streak like that, and for the most part, we've been able to just kind of run away from teams. You know, they'll play with us for a little while. And last night, you know, I had Lexington Catholic parents stopping me after the game. It's like, that's the best game we've played all year. And it's like, we didn't play well. We had a bunch of hitting errors. We know we made a bunch of mistakes. We know that wasn't our best game, and we have people telling them that was the best game they've played all year, and it still took 5 sets to put us away. Like, you can take that as a positive. Yeah, we would have liked to left there with a win, but knowing that, you know, we didn't have a great game, but they're just like, yeah, we had to give you our best shot to take you down.
Yeah. I mean, you got 3 kids who were committed to play college level.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about them, obviously.
I mean,
you just had 2 of them in here.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, the growth of the program. You know, we talk about, you know, we've sent girls to, you know, Kentucky Christian and Berea College and, you know, Worcester Polytechnic Institute when Kaylee went up there in life, and Corey's at Charleston, and we've kind of worked our way up. And, you know, this senior class just from the get-go has been very talented. They've been very hard workers, and, you know, they're reaping the benefits of it. You know, we know how lucky we are when we walk into a gym. You know, we went to Wolfe County back in July for like a scrimmage thing, and we're warming up, and I'm like, what are all these people doing here? And I went over and asked the Wolfe County coach. He's like, they're here to watch you all. They're not used to seeing like college volleyball players up here. And so, I mean, but the other side of that is when you walk in, people are like, oh, those are those girls that are going to play college. So we tend to get everybody's best shot. You know, they know what we've got coming. And, you know, Sarah and Alyssa and Hannah, all 3 do a very good job of handling themselves. They're all 3 very gracious about, you know, what they're doing. You wouldn't know the 3 of them are, you know, going to college, and, you know, that a couple of them are going to play on the D1 level. They work really well with the younger girls. They're very encouraging with our younger girls. Some of our freshmen are scared to death of them, but it's one of those things where people get invested in this program, and they know, like, yeah, we're doing some great things now, and when we leave, we want the program to keep growing. So, you know, they are a big part of that, you know, not only on the court, but just kind of helping with the culture and helping with these other girls.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we had Sarah Mitchell in here. She's going to EKU. Alyssa Evans is going to Marshall, and we haven't mentioned Hannah Martin yet, but she's going to Berea College.
She's going to Berea College, yep. And I know they've got a couple of new coaches. They're bringing. I went up there and watched them play Saturday, and I graduated from Berea. You know, we had Caitlin Miller went up there and played, and I've watched them play, and it's not been great volleyball.
Yeah.
It was like a total, like, they were running stuff at speed. They were running tempo stuff. I was like, this is not Berea College volleyball I've seen. So I know they're bringing in Hannah. They're bringing in a girl from Frederick Douglass that's a really nice hitter. They're bringing in some athletes. So I think that program, and it's going to be good. I was talking to the coaches about, we kind of went from, we're kind of a middle of the pack team to we've, kind of had put together some good seasons here and have kind of made a name for ourselves. And so Hannah's been a part of that. And so now hopefully she'll go to the college level and help them become a part of that.
Yeah, and you've been a big part of the growth. I mean, like it's your 9th season. You started as an assistant under.
Yeah.
We'll give a shout out to Bill Yarnell down in Florida. Hey, Bill. But you started assistant under him, and
I started as an assistant under him, and it's just changed so much. I tell people this story all the time: is we would have to walk through the middle schools and be like, "You're tall, you want to play volleyball. You're athletic, you want to play volleyball." And now, we had 40-something girls come out this summer. We unfortunately had to cut. I wish we cut everybody, but you just can't, put everybody on the bus. Yeah. And we're to a point now where girls are getting involved. I know Bill started kind of pushing for middle school. When I got in, I kept pushing for middle school, and that middle school program has paid huge dividends because I tell the story about when I was the freshman coach the first year, our girls went and won a scrimmage and didn't even realize they won. They didn't understand, how many points you played to. And it was the only game they won that year. But, now these girls are coming in and they understand rotations. They understand the concepts. I try to work closely with Foley and Ferristown so that they're kind of running some of the same stuff. They're using some of the same terminology. So when girls come in, I mean, it's, they're just fitting right into our system. I mean, that's like, we have Julia Bingham, who's a freshman for us right now. Last year when Hannah was hurt, she was an 8th grader and was starting, but she kind of already knew our stuff because she had been around. And Kylie Reimer, that had been the assistant coach for me, she was Ferristown's head coach. It was all very similar, so kids could just walk in and pick up what we were doing. And it's, I just kind of looked at like basketball, football, the models that they use is like, your middle school coaches work with your high school coaches, and that's what we need to do. And it's helped both of the programs here in the county, Central and us.
Yeah. And speaking of them, you swept them in the regular season. You went undefeated in district play, and obviously, both the two young ladies we just had in here, they know very well you had not won a district title since 2006, and that's the big, huge goal.
That banner gets brought up so often. And it's the goal every year. It's a goal in any sport, is to beat Central. And it's been a thing where I compare it to people, and the girls don't get this comparison, but you will. I compare it to, when I was in middle school and high school, the Bulls and the Pistons. It was like the Bulls, they'd get them in the regular season, and then they'd go and it'd be, they get swept in 4 in the playoffs. And then the next year they'd get to game 5, and then it'd be game 6, and then they finally got over the hump. I still remember watching the game when the Pistons, walked off that series when the Bulls finally beat them and went and won their first championship. And it's kind of, that's how we've been. There was that. 4 years ago, we went to 5 in the district championship and had a game point, had a chance to win, and didn't put it away. And I feel like then it was like, wow, wait, we can play with Central. And then the next year we went out and beat them at home. And then last year we beat them at home again. And then it was like we would get to districts and, we'd go 4 or 5 sets. The games would be really competitive, and we just couldn't put them away. And it's been like this year, they've just kind of been like, we want to go win the district, and, beating a team 3 times is hard to do. I mean, Central's done it to us quite a few years, but it's always hard because there's a familiarity there. And, we talked about that as soon as the game the other night ended. Is like, we know we're probably going to go beat them one more time. And Central is always up to play us. So we have to make sure that, if this is something that we want to go do, we have to go take care of business. And we just can't walk out on the court and win games because, we've got Sarah Mitchell and Alyssa Evans and Hannah Martin on our team. We have to go out and execute.
Yeah, because they took the first set from you.
Yeah, I mean, you
were not very happy either.
No. And, that's one of the things that we struggle with all year is our intensity. It was something we struggled with at Catholic. We feel like sometimes you can just turn it on and turn it off. And other teams, they don't turn it off. They'll just play hard. And we're just like, okay, cool, you got up 4 or 5 points on us, so now we're going to play. And I was like, well, the thing is, you kind of have to keep that intensity up and hope their intensity goes down. And, we've got ourselves in some bad situations because of that this year. But luckily, we're talented enough that we've been able to dig out of a lot of those holes. And one of those sets we won at Catholic, we got down 18-11 and came back and won, just because they went out there and picked up that intensity. But it's hard to do that when you just kind of turn it on and turn it off. And so that's one of the things we talked about at practice today as well. Is like, we know we've got 3 games left, and then we go to districts. Like, our goal should be, we want to play up here the whole time. We shouldn't have any of these dips, and if we do have a dip, it needs to be very short. Like, we need to go and focus. It's time to get locked in, because sometimes when you're winning a bunch of games like we got on, it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to just kind of, we're winning. It's going to happen. We're going to win. So sometimes you take a loss and like, okay, now we got to refocus and kind of figure out like, yeah, we got to go out and fix some things. We got to play a little bit harder, and this is what we need to fix.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away, district tournament. It's going to be over at Central. So that'll be it's always fun. It's always exciting.
That's what I got the email today. That's it's weird this year knowing like, oh, we actually have to play. It used to be you wanted that number 1 seed because you got that bye, you got that extra day of practice, and now we play Model, and then Central and Berea will play, and then that next night it'll be the 2 winners, and at district championship game. I mean, you've said it. The last couple of years, it's one of the best rivalries in the state. I mean, if you look at Central's record, people are going to be like, you should kill them. I'm like, you need to come to the game because you throw the scores out the window. The records don't matter. You're going to see a heck of a volleyball game.
Yeah, I'd say it's always intense. It's always unbelievable. When you played the other night, you kind of got recruited to do the national anthem, and I was talking to the girls before this, and I did not know that you do theater.
I do theater. I'm actually now teaching theater at Southern. It's something when I was younger, I always liked to sing. My dad tells stories about when I was a little kid, like if there was a microphone around, I was going to go do it, and I've just always liked singing. And when I got to middle school, Southern was built, and they're like, we're doing theater over here, and we need guys. Who would want to come sing? And I was like, I'll come sing. And I didn't know what it was. And so they did Oklahoma, and they gave me a cowboy hat that was too big and stuck me in the back and taught me a couple of songs. And I've just always I've always enjoyed it. I don't know what it is about it. It's fun to be other people, and now kind of teaching it at school and directing stuff and kind of seeing these kids get excited about it. It's very similar to volleyball in that, these girls get so excited and they get so worked up, and then now you see these theater kids that, there's a show coming up in a couple of weeks and they're like starting to get excited about it and all this. And it's a different kind of intensity. I mean, you're never going to match Sarah's intensity in anything, but it's fun, and it's something I've always enjoyed doing. And like the other night when I had to sing, it was we've got a new sound system, and you got to Bluetooth it, and it just wasn't working, and it was already like, God, we were like an hour and a half past starting, and I was like, I'm not going to fool with this. Like, I'll just sing it and just be done. And you can tell I started singing, and like girls on our team that didn't know that they were just turning around like, what is going on?
They told me you've done Shrek, and
I've done Shrek. I've done
the Beast,
Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. I've done a lot of stuff. I think something like 40-something shows since I was in high school. So.
Who's that with the company down in Berea?
Well, I've done kind of everything. When I was at Southern, that's where I went to school. I did shows there. When I went to Berea, I did some shows there. But Spotlight down in Berea, that's who I've done a lot of stuff with.
Okay, you're multi-talented. So things you learn. All right, well, we appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
Like I said, you're always so great, gracious, and sending us stats and everything.
Yeah, and I appreciate everything you all do. Covering these girls, and I tell people all the time. You all, when you talked earlier about the growth of volleyball, I have people all the time tell me, hey, I read about your team in the Register, or hey, we saw this in the Register stuff. So I think you all get a good amount of that praise for helping to build volleyball here.
No, it's fun. I still want to ask you one more thing. Has Sarah ever hurt you out there? I thought someone said that she hit you in the head.
Sarah has hit me over the years. I've kind of developed a sixth sense for knowing when balls are coming. But she did. I can't remember what I was like on the court talking to somebody, and I don't remember what we were doing, but they hadn't realized we stopped, and she did. She caught me like right in the back of the head, and it hurt about as much as you can imagine it did. Yeah. But yeah, she's got me a few times, but that was probably the one that people are talking about. It's like today at practice, she got a girl like right here, and there was a big red mark, and everybody was just like, she's killed one of our players. And, everybody jumps up, and it's funny, and it's laughing. And I was like, yeah, but if she really would have hurt her, it wouldn't have been funny.
Well, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a high school girl hit the ball that hard, but maybe there are some I haven't seen.
Yeah, well, and that's what we talk, when we're talking to the young girls, we talk about the sound. You want it there to be almost like, we call it a cannon. You want the cannon. And I was like, Sarah, Alyssa, when they hit the ball, you're hearing that almost every time. Yeah. And Sarah's just tends to be, it's the angle she comes at too. She comes at these weird, funky angles, and she'll drop that arm, and then it's just like, oh, somebody's going to get murdered.
Yeah, it seems like the crowd everybody kind of holds their breath.
Yeah, and she goes up and it's like, yeah, and she'll go up where she's looking this way, and then she'll turn back down the line, and the poor little girl that's in the right back is never ready for it. And you can just tell, like, we played one team, and she drilled a girl like that, and then the rest of the game, it was like anytime she turned that way, they were just like, nope, you can have that point. We're out of the way.
I would get out of the way, too, if I were there. Well, Wesley, I appreciate all your help over the years. Like I said, you're always so great about getting us information and stats and stuff like that, so we appreciate it. And continue best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Like I said, region tournament will be after the district. And hopefully make some waves up there. I think you guys still haven't ever won a region
tournament. Still not won. That's another big goal for us this year. The region is as wide open this year as it's ever been. Talking to officials, talking to people who know, they're just like, given the nights, who shows up? And they're like, you all, with what you have talent-wise, you've got as good a shot as anybody. And, that's a big step compared to when normally you're just like, please don't let us get Henry Clay. And this year they're just like, no, you all can play with Henry Clay. You can play with Dunbar. You can play with some of these teams. And, we've shown, even though, we've lost, some of those games, we've shown like, hey, we can hang with you. We can play. And if just a couple more plays go our way, we'll maybe be able to go up there and sneak out a win or two.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. I do want to take a quick moment. I have to do this. It's my mom. My mom's been a little bit under me. She's been sick. She was in the hospital for a couple of days. She got to go home today, though, so get well soon, Mom. She lives in Virginia, so she always watches this show. So get well soon, Mom. I love you. And once again, thank you, Jeremy, for coming on.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you, and we'll see you next week, folks.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
Almost 2 decades. That's right, I've covered local sports in Madison County for almost 2 decades. The Madison Central Indians, the Madison Southern Eagles, the Model Patriots, the Berea Pirates, the EKU Colonels, and the Berea College Mountaineers. I've covered them all. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, track, cheerleading, golf, youth sports, and more. It's all being covered by the Richmond Register. Join us for a brand new weekly sports program. Watch the Richmond Register Sports Show every Thursday at 9 p.m. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on all our social networks and to subscribe to the Richmond Register online or get your own subscription delivered. If it's sports in Madison County, we cover it.